Since the dawn of time, the conflict has raged. Nerds versus jocks. Frequently, the jocks have won, but sometimes the playing field between these two groups is leveled. Times like this one. Times like the United Way kickoff.
Okay, you jocks. Because of forces we can't adequately explain, we've been forced to raise money. Together. Now we just need to figure out how to spend it.
Which is why we are giving every single penny to the National Committee for Subatomic Research.
Whatever, nerds. This cash is going through the Home for Wayward Athletes, and there's not a thing you can do about it.
Nerds!
Dude, we know they're nerds.
Well, then there's only one way to settle this.
Dance off!
No!
Karaoke!
No!
Archery!
No! We will settle this the way we have always settled things.
Really weird Olympic Games.
But after 4 grueling church camp-like events, no winner had come forth. And so it was clear, these two sad, strange armies would settle their differences with...
A tiebreaker, right?
Yeah, obviously, it's only fair. Nerds!
To the presses!
Okay, gang, the time has come to settle this challenge. You've been working hard all summer long, and now it's time to raise money for the charity of your choice, to decide where that money goes. Now that we're going back to school, we have to set the record straight. The jocks want the money to go for the Home for Wayward Athletes. The nerds want to support the National Council for Subatomic Research? It's up to you to decide where this cash goes. There are 3 rounds in this ultimate tiebreaker. The team with the most victories will be the 2012 winner.
Okay, gentlemen, we really need to win this challenge if we want to keep using the gym at the Home for Wayward Athletes while the school gym is under construction.
Happen. Okay, coach. I know what you're talking about. Those Jillian Michael videos only go so far.
Come on, guys. We can't let these meatheads win. We know we want to give our money to the National Council of Subatomic Research.
Yeah. Oh, that way we can help them raise money for summer camp.
All right, time for round 1. Now that you're all the first round is the ultimate rock, paper, scissors challenge. Nerd Patty. All right, here we go. Ready on the count of 3. 1, 2, 3. Rock, big scissors. Nerds win. Nerds win round 1.
They can read our mind.
Now for the second challenge. Jocks, if you don't win this one, the nerds will take home the money for the National Council for Subatomic Research. The nerds are down 1 round. This round is in a round of extreme, up 1 round. This round is extreme thumb war. Jock Darian, Nerd Dan, center stage, and let's get it on.
Hey, I hadn't been working on these babies for nothing. No, don't just bring it, don't sing it, just come on.
All right, guys, on 3. 1, 2, 3, 4. I declare thumb war. Jocks win round 2. Nerds won round 1, Jocks won round 2. It comes down to the last challenge. The hardest challenge yet. This could get ugly.
Let's get him, guys!
Nerd Chris, Jock Pat, center stage. This is a tiebreaker for all the marbles, the big kahuna, the whole enchilada. Now remember, the money goes to the winner of the charity's choice.
Well, don't let, what are we doing? We got
leg wrestling.
Oh, leg wrestling. Don't let these skinny legs fool you, buddy. I won the leg wrestling competition at Google Analytics Camp last.
Not a chance, Twerp. These legs of steel will bring home the gold.
Right on the ground, boys. Go!
Wait a second. Why don't we give the money to one group that supports both education and a healthy Someone like the United Way of Central Oklahoma.
Huddle up, huddle up, huddle up, huddle up. Horn prong, sorry about that. Ladies and gentlemen, we have a decision. The jocks and the nerds have come together and decided to give money to an organization that they both believe in. That creates lasting change and makes a difference right here in Oklahoma. The true winner is the United Way of Central Oklahoma. Let's give it a big hand.
Okay, now let's be serious for a minute. Well, thanks, guys, and thanks for enduring that. We always have fun doing it, but really I need to thank the committee down here. I won't name you. But yeah, thanks so much every year for putting together that really well thought out script and helping us to make fools out of ourselves in front of the entire company. We really appreciate that. Thank you. I also want to thank Nina Naylor for being here from the United Way, and Jane Sutter, who's here as well from one of the agencies and going to speak. As much fun as we have, we now want to turn our attention to the serious business of raising money. And that's what we're here today, is to raise money for the United Way. And to kick us off is the president of AT&T Oklahoma, as well as the chairman of this year's United Way campaign, and the original jock. Many people don't know that he was a three-sport, varsity sport, letterman in high school in St. Louis. That was basketball, baseball, and synchronized swimming. Brian Gonserman, ladies and gentlemen.
Thanks, Chris. They probably wouldn't believe the synchronized swimming piece with my cardigan picture on there, so I appreciate you showing everybody that. In Google Analytics Camp? Really? Wow. You're right. Well, thank you very much for having me here, and thanks so much for everything that you are doing for the United Way. Before I get started, I would like to extend a round of applause to Chris Reen, your leader, for being this year's Pacesetter Chair. Chris, thank you very much. Thank you to this group for being a Pacesetter company. I got to tell you, and it's probably no surprise to any of you, that your leader did hit it completely out of the park by getting more Pacesetter companies this year than we had targeted. I think the total was 89, correct? So thank you very much for being part of that important organization, that important group of Pacesetter companies, because it really is the Pacesetters that get us started. And the success that the Pacesetter companies have really do set a bar and a benchmark for all of the other companies that are to follow to match up against. Your ability to really kind of set the goal, to set the momentum for the rest of the campaign is truly, truly important. And if you take a look at some of the success that we had, especially last year, it's really important that we get off to a great start. You know, last year, obviously, you all had a very successful campaign, and we appreciate that, and we're counting on you to do it again this year, actually to surpass that goal. And I know that you've had some challenges, but Chris says that you're up to the task. But the campaign as a whole surpassed their goal last year by over $1 million. And as was pointed out up here, the money that's going to United Way truly is making a huge impact. United Way has 62 partner agencies that support 130 plus community programs. Last year, the United Way and their partner agencies and their community programs impacted over 1 million lives in the Central Oklahoma United Way area. And that's so important. And what's really unique is your one gift to the United Way is helping so many different organizations, so many different groups, and they go so far. So I know all of us are very interested in certain aspects or certain issues, but what's unique about United Way is it's an ability to give one gift to help a lot of different people. You know, a $2 gift, just $2 a paycheck, can really make an impact. It may surprise many of you, it surprised me, that seniors at age 75 or older are the largest demographic in the area for suicide. And it's because of depression and loneliness. And just $2 out of your paycheck will go to provide 26 phone calls from one of the organizations to just talk to some of these seniors and get them in a better state of mind and help with regards to issues associated with suicide. You know, $20 a paycheck will go to provide to 26 youth that have gone out of the foster care system, the tools and the needs that they need to continue on with high school, to graduate, and to become productive members of society. $5 a paycheck will go to help 26 inner city youth be involved in a positive after-school program by the Boys and Girls Club of Central Oklahoma. So as you can see, the amount of money that you give is not important. We obviously want you to give a lot. But giving is what truly makes a difference. And the fact that you are all here today shows that you are committed. So I want to thank you for having me. I want to thank your leader, Chris Green, for his leadership in the Pacesetter Games and the Pacesetter companies. I want to thank you for your participation and your continued involvement with United Way. And now I'd like to turn it over to Jane Sutter, who is the Executive Director of the Boys and Girls Club, and I think she's brought a special guest to just show what your dollars mean to everyone in the state of Oklahoma. Thank you, Jane.
Thank you, Brian. I feel really comfortable here. Daria Butler has been our chair of the Boys and Girls Club Board of Directors for the last couple of years and done a wonderful job. Carla Hinton is now on our board as a new member of our board of directors. Joe Hite, wherever he went, got my son John started in the professional business of journalism. So I appreciate very much what you all do on a daily basis, and I appreciate being able to just give you a brief description of what we do at the Boys and Girls Club. You probably know where we are. We're at 35th and Western in Memorial Park in a really fabulous 35,000 square foot building that just turned 3 years old this June. And the club started in 1995 in a small community building, 7,000 square foot building, community building in the middle of the park. And under Daria's leadership and other board members, they were able to raise funds to build a really great club facility for our youth. We work with kids 6 to 18 years old. We serve both nerds and jocks. We really do, and Michael can tell you more about that. We, of course, have basketball. We have a fabulous 2-court basketball gymnasium, but we also have a really wonderful Dell Technology Center with 20 computers, state-of-the-art computers, and fabulous software. So we cover both sides of the spectrum, and we're able to do what we do largely because of being a United Way partner agency. It's so important. Our membership fee is $5 for the summer and $5 for the winter. And so we don't turn youth away because of money. And we're able to do that because of supporters like you and being part of the United Way. Last year, we got a couple of new buses, and actually you probably see our buses in your parking lot. The ladies at Impact Oklahoma donated a couple of buses, and we were able to start routes at a couple of new schools that we had not been able to serve before. We serve about 375 kids a day, just to give you a picture of that. I got a call from a mom, and she kind of had a tone to her voice, and I didn't really, just kind of an attitude, you know, and I didn't know what it means, but she said, well, my daughter goes to Monroe, and I hear that she can go to the Boys and Girls Club now. And I said, yes, ma'am, we would love to have your daughter. And she says, what does it cost? And I said, well, it's $5 for a membership during the school year and $5 for a membership in the summer. She burst into tears, and her attitude was all about that she didn't think she was going to be able to pay. And she said, my daughter's 8 years old, and I've been having to make a decision whether to have a safe place for her to be after school or have food on the table. And you are allowing me to do both. So that's just one story. I have a million. You don't have time for a million, but I do want you to hear a personal story from one of our favorite members. I don't like to have favorites, but Michael happens to be one of my favorites. This is Michael Young. He goes to Centennial. He's a sophomore at Centennial, and I got him out of school to come visit with you.
Hi, my name is Michael Young. I'm part of the Boys and Girls Club. I've been there since 2006. I have gone everywhere at the Boys and Girls Club, or I try to help out whenever I can. I am a foster kid. I have had a kind of a tough life, but the Boys and Girls Club kind of helps us out. They really do make a difference. My story is that I started out with an abusive mother and unwanted father, and we would travel around every 2 months and not get any foundation. So I couldn't read on the 3rd grade level, and I was in the 4th grade when I first came to the Boys and Girls Club in 2006. They allowed me to get a better foundation through them. My mom, she's my foster mom though. I call her mom. She took me to the Boys and Girls Club to have that foundation. Right now, I'm a sophomore, as she said, and I can read on the 2nd year of college right now. I was sort of like a troubled kid. I would get in trouble all the time. That kind of changed through having a good environment to just be myself, and they kind of helped me out a lot. I'm an artist. I can draw. They've helped me out in all aspects of my life. They are very important to me. By the way, I forgot to say this, they are sponsored through part of the United Way. So that really helps as well. Thank you guys for all being there and helping out. So through your contributions, you help us, and by extension, me.
Being contributors to the United Way. It's a wonderful organization, and we're proud to be a partner agency.
Thank you, Jane, and thank you, Michael, for sharing with us. Before we talk a little bit about our campaign, we're going to show you this year's United Way campaign video just to give you a little bit more information about United Way as an organization and this year's campaign that they're running.
The deal. You give just a few dollars to the United Way of Central Oklahoma, and the whole community keeps the change. How? Because United Way of Central Oklahoma is committed to taking every dollar you donate and making it work just as hard as you do to earn it. That means we support 62 Central Oklahoma organizations. Organizations who, like you, are into building a stronger community. By building up people through the support of programs that target our community's specific needs. Not just one, but many. Kind of important, wouldn't you say? With your help, pretty much anything is possible. So even though you may not see the purpose in donating, thanks to you, thousands of Oklahomans now have a purpose. Because they have the opportunity to access a quality education or job training that leads to a stable job and enough income to support a family. And they have access to tools that will lead to good health, the ability to live independently, and the means to be prepared for emergencies. It doesn't have to be gigantic. No, really, it doesn't. We can do a lot if everybody gives a little, because at United Way of Central Oklahoma, you can do more than give to a cause. You can actually cause something to happen. www.unitedwayokc.org.
Thank you, Ryan, for your help back here. Just a number of things we want to talk about for our campaign this year, and that's a great segue into what we're trying to accomplish and why we're doing this. This year, our campaign will run for 2 weeks, as it typically does. Starts today, will run through the 22nd of August. We'll have our continuous giving program going, as we have had for a number of years, to make it easy on you. Although if you'd like to fill out a pledge card and do something different than you currently are, just need to get those filled out and turned in by the 22nd of August. There are a number of things that we're doing that are a little bit new this year, just to keep things a little bit fresh. One thing is we're doing a silent auction that will be conducted throughout the third floor breezeway over the next couple of days, tomorrow and Friday. And that's going to be for both the day side and the night side. So we'll give everybody an opportunity to participate in that silent auction. Hopefully everybody knows a little bit about that, but the bottom line is departments are putting together some gift baskets, multiple in some cases. Whichever department raises the most amount of money per employee is going to win, I think, free donuts one morning in the coming weeks. So look for that silent auction. There's some pretty good stuff in there. There's, I think, an iPad, some autographed jerseys and helmets and things of that nature, or basketballs, and then lots of just kind of creative things that different departments have done. So that's something that's new this year. All that money obviously goes directly to the campaign. Another thing that we're doing that's new this year is we're going to have a book fair next week. So a week from this Thursday and Friday, again, both day side and night side, in the third floor breezeway, we'll have a book fair set up, and a percentage of all sales will go directly towards our campaign for United Way. And on a selfish side, they're really well discounted books for sale. So take advantage of that as you have kids and grandkids and other family members going back to school this year, okay? So that's another thing that's new. And then the last thing to mention is just all of next week. Each day there's one more sort of fundraising opportunity to spend $5 per day and wear something along with jeans. Different theme days you can see up here on the screen. Just different silly things that our committee has put together for us to have some fun with. And both this Friday and next Friday, you can actually wear shorts if you pay $5. That was actually Mr. Reen's idea, so you can thank him for that if you want to take advantage and just tell your department head, hey, Chris said it, that's right? So for $5, you can wear shorts this Friday and next Friday, okay? So that's it in a nutshell with what we are going to be putting out there for you to participate in the next 2 weeks. Chris is going to talk a little bit more about what our goal is and sort of wrap us up here before we have some lunch. So let's go ahead and welcome back the biggest nerd of Opubco, Chris Reen.
Thanks, Scott, and thanks to all of you, Michael especially, thank you. It was terrific. Let's talk a little bit about numbers. You heard Brian Gonterman talking about the importance of the United Way campaign and what a success it was last year. Last year, the campaign raised $22.2 million. It was a record. And as you heard several people say, there's over 62 agencies with some 150 programs serving 1 million people through central Oklahoma. Those are impressive numbers. He talked a little bit about the pacesetter companies, of which we are one, and the importance of us setting the tone for the general campaign that doesn't kick off until September, because we turn in our results of our campaign before the campaign even starts. Last year there were 77 pacesetter campaigns. This year there's 89, which seems like a great head start. But let me tell you the importance of the pacesetter companies. Last year the pacesetter companies, those 77 companies, raised $5.6 million, which was 25% of the entire campaign before the campaign even kicked off. That's the importance of our pacesetter campaign. We have to give the campaign that kicks off at the ballpark in September a great deal of momentum, and it's companies like ours that help them do that. The need has never been as great. I know we probably say that every year, but the need truly has never been as great. With fluctuation in European economies and unemployment still dangerously high and a big election coming up, we're really not going to know what's going to happen with the economy until probably after November or maybe even after the first of the year. But this is not a wait-and-see campaign. The campaign is in the throes right now. We can't wait to see what's going to happen in November, and we really need to step up as a company now. In terms of giving, it's a personal choice. And so we don't make a mandate for you to give. We don't tell you it's a requirement. We ask you to look in your heart and consider giving. And the expression that I like to use, I've been using the last couple weeks on the campaign trail, is to give selfishly. To give selfishly. Few of us will go through this life without needing some sort of help, without needing some sort of services at some point. It's highly likely that you or your neighbor or someone you know or a family member has already received services at some point from a United Way agency. So give selfishly, because someday you may need those services yourself. You may be asking yourself why we're jocks and geeks and nerds and book fair and things. Well, the whole theme for this year's United Way campaign is back to school. And the slogan is you plus United Way equals a better tomorrow. And I couldn't think of a better way and a more fitting way to end than that. In advance, we appreciate your help. And now we're going to have lunch, which is served right out this way. So please stay and join us for lunch. And thanks again for being here and your participation. Have a good day.
You're doing more filming.
Good, how are you?
Huh? I'm gonna stay and have lunch.